ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्बोद्धूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्त्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ वर्स नंबर 3 चिदाभासविशिष्टानां तथानेकधियामसौ सन्धिं धियामभावञ्च भासयन् प्रविविच्यताम्. So Vidyaranya, in this technical chapter, deals with that difference between Chidabhasa and Chit or Kutastha. Chidabhasa, Kutastha, Viveka. Kutastha happens to be Brahman, so Chidabhasa, Brahma, Viveka. But anyway, so and how can we differentiate these two experientially is a topic. We should differentiate based on experiences. Then he will talk about function also, functional difference. And for that, to explain this, well, he gives an example of a sunlight and reflected sunlight. And there we can really find a difference on the wall. There is a patch where there is a reflected sunlight. And between two patches from two different mirrors, well, there is a general sunlight. That is sunlight. In a patches, there is a reflected sunlight. So you can find the difference. And so same way here also, we can find a difference here between Chidabhasa and Chit. How will you do? Well, Vidyaranya explains it now in third verse. Say, what he wants to say is that focus on this medium. The differences occur between sunlight and reflected sunlight is due to mirror. Same way here also, to differentiate between Chidabhasa and Chit, reflected consciousness and consciousness, there should be a mirror. That is mind. So when mind is active, functional, definitely reflection will be there. So when thoughts are functioning, at that time Chidabhasa will be active. When reflecting medium is active, reflected consciousness also will be active, means it will be there, predominance. And mind is in silence. When you remove the mirror, you make the mirror inactive as though, well, the reflected sunlight won't be there, just sunlight will be there on the wall. Patches will go away. Same way here also, when mind is in silence, because that's experience. We are differentiating Chidabhasa Chit or Chidabhasa Kutastha based on experiences. So then we have to talk, we have to see what are the human experiences, where in some experiences, while this mirror, the mind is active, in some experiences mind is not active. When mind is not active, reflection of reflected consciousness won't be there. Or let us say it won't be there means it will be dormant. It will be dormant. And then Sakshi will be dominant. When mind is active, then reflected consciousness, Chidabhasa will be dominant. Then Chit will be dormant. Dormant, we should not say dormant, but it, it won't be dominant because Chidabhasa overshadows naturally. The way reflected sunlight overshadows that general sunlight on the wall. Same way here also, Chit is there. Chit, how otherwise Chidabhasa can be there? So Chit is there, but then it is as though it is overshadowed, as though only we have to say. The very Chidabhasa shines in Chit. And therefore, anyway. So, in case of sun, we can't take all the features of sunlight, sunlight and reflected sunlights and reflected consciousness and consciousness. All the features you cannot compare. Only few features you are able to compare. Anyway, so when mind is in silence, inactive, either during a Jagrata Avastha between two thoughts, which you are able to create that space. Between two thoughts, you have deliberately created space by Manasa Japa, which is very, very essential. Very essential. For if one wants to gain a space, one wants to gain a little control over the thought patterns. If you want to save yourself from mechanical thinking, you will need to have a space, conscious space, deliberate space between thoughts. And for that purpose, you can definitely take help of japa. Japa will definitely create that space. Anyway, because there is no rhyme reason between two thoughts of a mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, and there is another Om Namah Shivaya. There is no rhyme and reason. If rhyme reason you provide, mind will jump. And it jumps and jumps and jumps, it goes away from you. It is not under your control. Thousands and thousands of channels are there. I gave you example, perhaps I don't know, but so you see a car, from car you can go anywhere in the mind. Because you are stopping at the signal. You are seeing a car. Depending upon the brand of the car, where you can go to the manufacturer of in Germany, and from Germany you can go anywhere, or in Germany politics and anywhere it goes, anywhere it goes. And then only when the green signal is there, people, on the other cars are there, they are giving a horn and everything, then you realize, oh. So between two, if you want to be conscious of the space between the two thoughts, so that the whole thought pattern will remain under your control, you will have a focusing capacity, or you will have a little control over your thought patterns. If you want, you need to be more awareful of the space between two thoughts. That is very essential. Very essential. Anyway, and between two thoughts means what? There is no thought. Okay, if thought is not there, means mind is inactive temporarily. Well, then Chidabhasa won't be active. So between two thoughts, there is a space. How will you know? How will you know that there is a space? So space is a limit. That is Chit. That is Chit. Sakshi. Anyway, or Sushupti. Naturally, thoughts are dormant. Mind is dormant. Mind is resolved into its karana temporarily. And therefore, there also you are aware of, you have experienced that whole Sushupti, and so you are aware of that. Or Samadhi, I talked about, deliberately remove the thoughts, sthula vrittis you remove by dharana, dhyan, samadhi, etc. So your conscious mind is inactive. Mind is very much there, it has not resolved into karanavastha, so it is not a sushupti. Conscious mind is not active, means it is not jagrata avastha also. So there are subtle thoughts going on pertaining to the object of the samadhi, object of the absorption. That is self. Anyway, generally. or else anything else. Well, in that case also, so definitely these are the three states where definitely the mind is not active. And then definitely the reflected consciousness is not active. Chidabhasa is not dominant. And there, well, then that is, they are illumined by the chit. So you can understand very well. This is a discrimination at the level of experiences by which you can say, well, this is this experience in which Chidabhasa is there. I of course will remain. But then in other three states, well, I as a Sakshi will be there. We should understand that when the mind is active, the thoughts are generated. And in these thoughts, there is a one thought which is very distinct from all the thoughts. And that thought is, I thought. I thought you should not compare Swamiji all the thoughts. One of the thought is I thought. No. No, 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 no. The I thought is very, very distinct. In fact, that is the thought. We call it as a, you see, the mind has a two amsha, which is, one is a vritti amsha, which is dravya amsha. We saw in Drigdashya Viveka. So when dravyamsha of the mind becomes conscious, means Chidabhasa is there. I mean, when consciousness pervades the whole mind, dravyamsha, the substance mind, the mind becomes active. Active means generating a thought, that's I thought. And once that thought is there, then further thoughts arises. They are all pertaining to the objects. And this I thought will remain behind all these idam vrittis. Like in a lake, there is a water, of course. Now, like our Great Lake, etc., Chicago Lake. And so when you stand on the shore, the water comes. You see, the water comes at the same time the waves also come. So the waves come, you can understand very well. But you see, without waves also, under the waves, there is a water which also is coming along with. That is like I thought. I thought you won't see all the time like a wave. But behind all this different waves, there is underneath, there is a water which is coming. That's I thought. I thought is all the time there. In fact, when mind picks up the objects through the thought, that is all just vritti-amsha of the mind. The I thought, the ahankara, the dravyamsha of the mind remains, substance mind remains inside. It cannot go out. The vritti-amsha goes out along with the chidabhasa, of course, and then pervades, etc. We are going to talk also, and we talked before also in 6th and 7th chapter. So, I thought is something different from idam vritti. Aham vritti is very different, which we call ahankara, along with the chidabhasa, of course, naturally. So that is ahankara. That's how Ramana Maharshi says, well, resolve all these idam vrittis into aham vrittis, etc. And then aham vritti, the moolam of the aham vritti is basically atma. Very close between atma and ahankara. There is a tremendous similarity. That's how people say ahankara alone is atma, but due to ignorance, of course. So very similar, because that aham vritti is not that like idam vritti, which you are able to objectify easily. Idam vritti means thoughts pertaining to the object. You can objectify easily, very well. But try to objectify aham vritti, it is little difficult. You won't be able to do that. That shows aham vritti is quite distinct from idam vrittis. Aham vritti is one. Of course, it is generating. But then basically it is one. It is also anityam. We know aham vritti resolves, ahankara resolves. We know very well. And so, and first that will be there. First, the whole mind becomes conscious. The Chidabhasa is, I mean, the Sakshi blesses that whole mind, that substance mind, Dravyamsha, with the consciousness. Means what? Sakshi blesses with Chidabhasa, the whole mind. Then, well, so the Ahamvritti arises, the Chidabhasa is there, Ahankara is there, and now further Idamvritti arises, and of course Chidabhasa will be there in that also. So anyway, so this Chidabhasa, basically, I mean, when the mind becomes inactive, it is dormant, then Chidabhasa is passive. Anyway. So during silence, well, I experience myself as a Sakshi. I should appreciate it. I don't appreciate. That's only through Vedanta we appreciate now. By analyzing experiences, now we appreciate, yeah, here is a Sakshi, here it is Chidabhasa, like that. So during silence, I experience myself as a Sakshi Pradhana Jiva, you can say, or a Sakshi if you want to say. This is message number 1. And whereas during other occasions, well, since thoughts are there, Chidabhasa must be active. And so it is, Chidabhasa is a dominant. So reflecting medium is active, well then reflected consciousness also is dominant. Anyway. So we have done this also, so I am removing certain portion. So it now it clearly proves that we are not actually lacking the experience of a Chidabhasa. We are not lacking the experience of a Sakshi. Only what we lack is that the distinction between these two types of experiences, the knowledge of the distinction between two types of experiences we don't have. We don't lack experiences. We lack the analysis of experiences. Vedanta provides that analysis, proper analysis of an experiences and distinguish Chidabhasa and Chit or Kutastha or a Sakshi in terms of experiences. Okay. Question. Our question is, who is doing this analysis? Who is doing this discriminative analysis between these two? Who is doing? Chidabhasa or Chit? Chidabhasa or Sakshi? Who is doing that? Well, it should be, analysis should be done by what? Simple. I need not answer directly. Out of this. No, that's not correct. I am asking you, when you do discrimination in this body, who does this discrimination? Oh, mind. Means mind is active? Yeah, active. Then definitely who is active? Who is dominant? Chidabhasa or Chit? Chidabhasa. That's it. Simple. If you do an analysis based with the help of the mind is active. If mind is active, reflection is there very much. And therefore Chidabhasa, Pradhana Jiva or Chidabhasa, of course Chit is there. We know Chidabhasa, it's a mixture only. This kind of question has come before. Who gains knowledge of Aham Brahma? Who tells Aham Brahmasmi? Who tells? The person who wants to answer, he is not so serious. The person who asks question, he is so serious, very serious. And after asking question, he sees in the hall everywhere on both the sides. Means, are you noticing what kind of question I have asked? So serious question. Who knows? Aham Brahmasmi. Yeah. Knowledge takes place where? Knowledge takes place where? Please tell us. Knowledge takes place where? In the mind. The mind is active? Yeah. The Chidabhasa should be there or not? Yeah. Okay, Chidabhasa is there. Therefore, but then Chit will not be there. What kind of a yogurt you have eaten? Buffalo? If Chidabhasa is there, Chit, which is all pervading, where will it go? It's a mixture. It is a mixture. Aham Brahmasmi, knowledge takes by mixture in which Chidabhasa is dominant. The Pramata is dominant. Pramata gains Prama. Brahman doesn't gain Prama. There is nothing other than Brahman, which is one without second. Where is a question of a Prama other than that? Only the Pramata says, by operating the means of knowledge, Pramana, Pramata himself says, I am not Pramata. I am basically I am basically Brahman, who assumes the role of Pramata. Pramatrutvam is mithya. Anyway, Chidabhasa is mithya. Anyway, so this is how Sakshi cannot say that. If Sakshi is dominant to do this discriminative analysis, then well, mind is mind is dormant in that. Well, Sakshi cannot even do this analysis. So Sakshi can't talk. Sakshi can't do any analysis. Sakshi is Sakshi. That's it. Nothing else. Okay, question. You said you have both the types of Anubhava, whereas Chidabhasa is dominant, whereas Sakshi is dominant. When that is dominant, the other one is dormant. Means they are there. You are saying it's a mixture. And therefore, one may be dominant, other is dormant. Here, in other experience, the Sakshi is dominant, then the Chidabhasa is dormant. But basically, I want to go to such a state of experience in which only Sakshi will be there. Even Chidabhasa dormant also I don't want. Dormant means it is there in the mixture, but it is dormant. I don't want that. Well, that kind of a thing is not possible. Chidabhasa is totally absent here, and then it is a death of the body. Because to have a Chidabhasa, you need a mind. Mind means Sukshma Sharira. Sukshma Sharira is present here, then only the body is alive. Through that only. So if Chidabhasa should not be there, totally absent means Sukshma Sharira, the mind should go, the reflecting medium should go away. If it goes away, the body will not remain alive. And therefore, in a person who has a life and have an experiences, for such a person, experience of a pure Sakshi, such a state of experience is not there. And therefore, it is ridiculous to basically, ask that pure Sakshi Anubhava, etc. Logically, such state won't exist. Now, having experienced both, Sakshi, analyzing both the types of experiences and, determining the dominance of one over the other, and in another state, well, therefore, dominance of the other. Now, you tell us between these two, Chidabhasa and Chit, dormant, dominant, but all the time mixture, what is the incidental and what is intrinsic to oneself? Well, I am Sakshi. That's intrinsic. What cannot be negated is intrinsic. Yeah. What can be negated is incidental. That's it. That's it. But this is how it is. What can be negated it is incidental. What cannot be negated is intrinsic. Sakshi can never be negated. Even when the Chidabhasa is predominant, Sakshi should be there. Otherwise, where is Chidabhasa without Chit? Sakshi. Therefore, even when Chidabhasa is dominant in those experiences, Chit is very much there. Whereas in where the Sakshi is dominant, of course Chidabhasa is there, but definitely it is mithya. Because Chidabhasa and Chit, in that Chidabhasa is impossible without Chit. Chit is there even without Chidabhasa. Even when the Chidabhasa goes away from this body, Chit still remains. How can you say Chit remains? Well, the body exists or not. That's it. Body exists and body consciousness is there or not. It is there. And therefore, Sakshi pervades even the dead body. Even when Chidabhasa is totally gone, Sakshi pervades. The very existence of the body, dead body, is in consciousness. So body is definitely, that body is like any inert object. Clip is, well, clip consciousness is. Same way body is, body consciousness is. Maybe there is no conscious body. There is no sentient body in absence of a Chidabhasa. That is okay. So like the sentience is not there in clip. But the very existence of the clip is proven in consciousness. Otherwise, how will you prove? And that is how the clip shines also. Clip is illumined by consciousness. Clip existence is proven by consciousness. There is no clip away from the consciousness, and therefore definitely Sakshi remains. Even when Chidabhasa not dormant, Chidabhasa goes away. And therefore the all-pervading Sakshi definitely cannot be negated. That is real I. Okay. So this, I mean this, I am Sakshi, well, that is my real nature. Chidabhasa Pradhana Jiva is Vyavaharika. When Chidabhasa is dominant, well, that's how Vyavahara takes place, Kartrutvam, Bhoktrutvam, Paramatrutvam, etc. That is incidental. That doesn't remain all the time. So this wisdom is to be, of course, gained by the Chidabhasa Pradhana Jiva. Okay, now Vidyaranya says in third verse, Sandhim asau bhasayan. Asau means Kutastha Pradhana Jiva. Sandhim means that gap, the silence between the two thoughts, the gap between the two thoughts. So Sandhim, Aneka Dhyam Sandhim Bhasayan. Bhasayan means illumining Sandhim, illumining the gap. Aneka Dhyam, well, present among Aneka Dhyam Madhye. Among all various types of dhyam, means among all various types of thoughts, Sandhim, the gap. The gap is Bhasayan, illumining who? Asau. Asau means this Kutastha. This Kutastha illumines silence, obtains within the thoughts. And what type of thoughts? Chidabhasa Vishishtanam. So thoughts which are pervaded by Chidabhasa. One thought, well, with the Chidabhasa, born and then gone. Then other thought arises along with the Chidabhasa. But between these two thoughts, along with the Chidabhasa, where Chidabhasa is dominant, in between that there is a gap. The Sandhi is illumined by Asau Kutastha. Okay, this is one state. You were telling three states of experiences are there in which Sakshi is dominant. You said that, yeah. We are telling you now. The second one is Dhyam Abhavam Cha. Dhyam Abhavam. Even when thoughts are absent totally, like a deep sleep state. And third one, we have to supply. So also the state, also a state of samadhi in which thoughts are resolved for length of time. So that is samadhi. He doesn't mention samadhi, I think, and therefore, because that is not an experience for everyone. Therefore, we can, by analyzing the samadhi experience, we can say that that's a different thing. But the common experience of all the human being is this too only. In a waking state, there is a gap between two thoughts. There is only Sakshi illumines that gap, and Dhyam Abhavam Sushupti. So Sushupti and Jagrata Avastha, which is an experience of all, in which this is possible to understand that the Sakshi is present here. That another state, well, definitely there is a Chidabhasa is a dominant. So anyway, so this kind of a thing is there. And Samadhi, of course, is the mind is dissolved, mind becomes silent. In fact, they have a Yoga Shastra talks about the 5 stages by which the mind becomes totally silent. As I told you, Kshiptam, Mudham, Vikshiptam, etc. Ekagram, and then lastly it becomes Niruddham. So totally, these are 5 levels of silencing the mind totally. That's the Samadhi. Anyway, so Asau Kutastha Vartate. Kutastha is experienced by everyone in these states. Samadhi, Sushupti, and the gap between two thoughts even in the waking state. Saha Pravivichetam. Let that Kutastha be separated from Chidabhasa in terms of understanding your own experiences. And you asked what is incidental and what is intrinsic. Well, it is very simple to understand that this Sakshi alone is intrinsic. Chidabhasa comes and goes. If Chidabhasa is incidental, then one takes oneself to be a limited being. Chidabhasa is dominant, means Ahankara dominant. Ahankara dominance means that Aham Vritti which is there and underneath, behind all these Idam Vrittis. That Aham Vritti pervades that mind already, I have told you. And then Aham Vritti pervades the entire subtle body because mind is one of the component. Aham Vritti pervades even the senses. Aham Vritti pervades even the organs of action, and Aham Vritti pervades prana. And that subtle body with the Aham Vritti pervades the gross body. And therefore, because the subtle body is present in the gross body, and therefore definitely Aham Vritti pervades up to the dermis. And that's how, then, well, if that is the reality, that is the intrinsic nature of oneself, then definitely Aham Vritti along with the Chidabhasa pervades, definitely. Therefore, one takes oneself to be a limited entity, an individual. That should be the reality. But that's not the reality. Why that's not reality? Because you have other states in which, well, there is the sense of individuality goes away very much. But then sense of individuality goes away, and then one becomes free from the sense of individuality, but that also one becomes free from. Therefore, individuality must be the one's own nature. No, that's not my nature. Well, that is when there is a sense of individuality, still there is Sakshi present there, and if that goes away, still the Sakshi is present. And therefore, I am Sarvavyapi Nityamukta Atma Sakshi. This is just little extension. Verse number 4. घटैकाकाराधीस्थाचित् घटमेवावभासयेत् घटस्य ज्ञातता ब्रह्म चैतन्येनावभासते. Now Vidyaranya enters into a little deeper inquiry. He presents this analysis little in a different manner. And for that we also, here what he has said, he has already discussed in 6th and 7th chapter. And that is the prakriya of a Vedanta, and that is vritti vyapti, and what is that? Phala vyapti. These two things are there. That's how the knowledge takes place. So he is discussing now this analysis with taking help of epistemology. How the knowledge takes place. And there, this becomes very clear, the distinction between the two. See, when the pot is in front, because he mentions pot only, ghataikakaradhistha. So when the pot is in the front, and then definitely pot thought, vrityamsha of the mind goes out, not dravyamsha. Dravyamsha cannot go away. So vrityamsha of the mind, well, aham vritti remains inside, the whole mind is conscious. Then vrityamsha, the idam vritti, etc., well, it goes away, out, and pervades the pot. When vritti pervades, the vrityamsha of the mind pervades the pot, thought arises. So there is a pot outside, and now there is a pot thought inside, and behind that there is a sakshi. Behind the mind there is sakshi. So three things are there. Sakshi, Atma. So pot, outside pot, that is jadam. Why? Because it is made up of 5 gross elements. Pot thought also is jadam because it is made up of 5 subtle elements. Pancha Sukshma Bhuta, because it's a mind. Therefore, all 5 are there. Okay? And therefore, mind is made up of sattvic amsha of all the 5 elements. And therefore, any thought it is subtle body. Therefore, it is made up of Pancha Sukshma Mahabhuta. So, jadam. We have to prove it is jadam. So, behind pot, there is a thought, pot thought. Behind that, there is a sakshi, of course. And sakshi is self-illumining, to which even the thought is evident, to which even the object is evident. So, sakshi is self-evident. And therefore, that Sakshi, I, the consciousness, well, is there. Now, how pot knowledge takes place? So, Vedanta says two events take place when you experience a pot, when you gain the knowledge of the pot. First, Sakshi pervades the thought. And when Sakshi pervades the thought and illumines the thought, we can say Sakshi blesses the thought by Chidabhasa. So our Sakshi illumines the thought by forming the reflection in the thought. Okay, so that is the first thing. So thought is revealed because Chidabhasa is there. And thereafter that thought, along with the Chidabhasa, well, that's a Vritti Amsha, thought, along with the Chidabhasa, pervades the thought outside. And therefore, when thought pervades the object, there is a pot thought, and definitely there is a Chidabhasa also, which illumines the pot. And that's how pot knowledge takes place, pot is experienced, etc. And so this is described in two steps. Because of a Sakshi, Chidabhasa pervades thought. Because of a thought, Chidabhasa pervades pot. Because of a Sakshi, Chidabhasa pervades thought, naturally. Sakshi blesses the thought with Chidabhasa. Means Chidabhasa pervades thought. So because of Sakshi, Chidabhasa pervades thought. Because of a thought, Chidabhasa pervades object, Ghata, outside. And well, then what? What happens? Well, you say, I know pot. I know pot. So this is second event. I know pot. What is first event? Well, first event is in which a first event is experienced by, in which form? Well, I know that I know the pot. So that is how, so Chidabhasa pervades of thought. Then Chidabhasa pervades pot with the help of thought. Chidabhasa pervades thought, first thing. Means Sakshi illumines the thought, means Chidabhasa pervades the thought. Then Chidabhasa along with that thought, or Chidabhasa due to thought, pervades even pot. Chidabhasa illumines the pot. That's how pot knowledge takes place. That's one thing. And second thing is what? Since the Sakshi pervades the thought, pot thought, therefore now that pot thought is pot cognition. Naturally, because now Chidabhasa has pervaded the pot, so in your mind it is not pot thought, it is pot cognition. That pot cognition, is pervaded by actually Sakshi in form of Chidabhasa, and therefore you have a second knowledge also. I know that I know pot. So when Chidabhasa pervades pot, then pot thought plus Chidabhasa naturally becomes pot cognition in your mind. But since the Sakshi pervades even that thought, you say, I know that I know the pot. Means I know that I have a cognition of a pot. I know the pot. So two knowledges are simultaneous in the mind. So Ghata Jnanam and Ghata Jnana Jnanam. There are two things. This is not true. We accept Ghata Jnana. Somebody said, I accept Ghata Jnana. I don't accept this I know pot. No, I will not accept. If that is not there, then there will not be any teacher of any subject matter. Why? Suppose someone teaches French to a group of people in India, Alliance Frank. There is an institute, Alliance Frankie something. I even don't know how to speak, which teaches French in Ahmedabad. So there is a teacher of a French language, and there are students of the French language. Teacher, if he is a teacher of a French, he should have knowledge of what? Knowledge of French. One thing is over, French knowledge, French language knowledge he has. And when he takes the appointment and he comes for the class, what he has? What knowledge he has? He has the knowledge that I know that I have a knowledge of French, right? It should be there or not. If he has a knowledge of French, but he doesn't know that he has a knowledge of French, how he is going to come to the class? Therefore, there are two knowledges in the teacher of the French. I know the French, and I know that I know the French. Students, one thing, I don't know French, and I know that I don't know French. So I said teacher will be possible of any subject matter. Even I take a class at 10:30, knowing that little bit I know of Vedanta, whatever. I know Vedanta, one. I know that I know Vedanta, then only I can share. Therefore, this is there. Two knowledges are all simultaneous. In everyone, whether one is teacher or not, that's a different issue. Two knowledges are simultaneous because Sakshi illumines the mind. Means here part thought, and the part thought along with the Chidabhasa illumines the part, and therefore two knowledges will be there. When Chidabhasa pervades the part due to, with the help of the thought, vritti, then definitely just part knowledge. And that part knowledge in the mind is illumined by Sakshi, and therefore I know that I know. The part also will be there. Anyway, so this is how Chidabhasa is responsible for Gata Jnanam, and Sakshi is responsible for the Gata Jnana Jnanam. So when you talk about your knowledge, Sakshi is dominant. When you talk about objects, Chidabhasa is dominant. When you talk about part, etc. in the world, Chidabhasa is dominant. When you talk about the knowledge of part, etc., Sakshi is dominant. Clear? I hope it is clear. So Chidabhasa is prominent in one situation, even while talking. It is so clear. If you talk about your knowledge, Sakshi is dominant. If you talk about the objects outside, well, then definitely Chidabhasa is dominant. One more thing. Before part knowledge takes place, what was there? Vidyaranya says, well, part ignorance was there. Then who was revealing this part ignorance? Well, Sakshi alone illumines part ignorance. Part is illumined by the Chidabhasa. That's fine. But part ignorance is illumined by Chidabhasa. You cannot say. If part ignorance is illumined by Chidabhasa, means there is no part ignorance then. Therefore, part ignorance is illumined by what? Part is illumined by Chidabhasa, then part ignorance cannot be illumined Chidabhasa. In fact, there was a part ignorance, and now Chidabhasa illumines the part, and that's how the unknown part becomes known part. Anyway, it is coming. So basically, Sakshi alone illumines Gata Jnanam. Sakshi reveals Gata Jnanam later. So Chidabhasa does not reveal Gata Jnanam and Gata Jnanam, but only reveals part. So we can summarize these three facts now. Sakshi reveals part ignorance. 1. Sakshi reveals part knowledge. Chidabhasa reveals part. That's it. Clear? Chidabhasa reveals part. If you say this is part, in you, Chidabhasa is dominant. When you don't say anything, but you say, I have a knowledge of a so and so, or I have knowledge of a pot, Sakshi is basically is dominant. So where is Sakshi and all that? It is so clear, right? So this is the difference between function of a Sakshi and function of Chidabhasa. Vidyaranya wants to present this here in a little different manner. So before Chidabhasa reveals a pot was there, but I was ignorant of the pot. So previously it was a known pot, thereafter Chidabhasa pervades the pot through the pot thought, and well, now because of that pervasion, by Chidabhasa, pot knowledge takes place. And moment pot knowledge takes place, that unknown pot became known pot. Unknown pot became known pot. The change of the status is due to Chidabhasa. Previously it was unknown. And now pot thought occurred. And Chidabhasa present in that pot thought revealed the pot. So pot knowledge takes place. Pot became known. So unknown pot became a known pot due to Chidabhasa. That is its function. And so that conversion of an unknown pot to known pot is by Chidabhasa. So job of Chidabhasa, Vidyaranya says job of Chidabhasa is only converting unknown pot to the known pot. That's it. But then unknownness of the pot. What is unknownness of the pot? What is the sentence for that? I know that I don't know pot. So unknownness of the pot, naturally, right, is revealed by what? Sakshi. And now I say, I know that I know the pot. Means knownness of the pot is also revealed by Sakshi. Clear? And so, two adjectives are unknownness and knownness regarding the pot are illumined by Sakshi. The status of an unknown pot to the known pot, or conversion of an unknown pot to the known pot, that's better. Conversion of an unknown pot to the known pot is done by Chidabhasa. Hush. So much. Right? This is Vidyaranya. All teachers get tired. I am telling you, again, in presence of him, the way he presents everything. So, this is how it is. So, pot is revealed by Chidabhasa, pot ignorance, pot knowledge is revealed by Sakshi. But he says like this. But he is telling like this unknownness. Yeah. That's what I am going to tell. Jnatata, Ajnatata. He is using abstract nouns. Ness. So he is little differently presenting. So, and this will be the topic. In terms of function, etc. Well, also you can distinguish these two. Will be the topic from verse number 4 onwards to the 617. Okay, let's see that verse now. Dhisthachit. So, Chaitanyam basically located. Chit means Chaitanya, consciousness. Stha, located, present. The, thought. Consciousness present in the thought. What is that thought? Ghata ekakara dhi. There is a pot and there is a thought. They have become one. Means what? Pot thought. Right? When vritti-amsha of the mind pervades the pot. Now pot and thought are not two different things. Pot, thought. That's called ghata ekakara dhi. So ghata ekakara dhi is equal to ghata vritti. That's it. This is a Vidyaranya. Gata ekakara dhistha. Gata vrittistha. Chit. The consciousness present in the pot thought. What it is? Chidabhasa. Consciousness present in thought is what? Chidabhasa. Consciousness illumines the pot thought. It means in terms of Chidabhasa. Illumination of a mind by Chidabhasa will be always in by forming Chidabhasa. Illumination of the thought by Sakshi will be always in terms of Chidabhasa. I did not say properly before. That we should remember. How can you say? Illumination of a mirror by the sun is what? Oh, Swamiji, mirror will be present. The sun will be present in the mirror. That's how it is. It's a special thing. You should not say, well, same thing for other things. No. Formation of a Chidabhasa is due to a special material of the medium. Not everywhere. Not everywhere. Anyway, so now the same sunlight illumines even a stone which is just beside that mirror. There we should not say, well, sunlight illumines the stone by forming the reflected sunlight in the stone. No. But when sunlight illumines the mirror, we should say, well, it blesses the mirror or it illumines the mirror by forming the reflection in the mirror. So this is, we have to be very clear. Illumination of a one material by blessing of forming a reflection. In other it is not. Anyway, so dhistha, gata ekakara dhistha chit, the consciousness present in the dhivritti, the pot thought, consciousness located in the pot thought, which is of course reflected consciousness, Chidabhasa, that Chidabhasa. So he doesn't say chit, he doesn't say sakshi illumines. Gata ekakara dhistha chit avabhasayet. The reflected consciousness present in the pot thought, gatameva bhasayet. The reflected consciousness in the pot thought, avabhasayet, illumines, reveals pot. So could you follow now? So this is how it is. So that is how pot knowledge takes place. Or in Vidyaranya's language, pot has gained a new status, known pot. But ghatasya jnatata, the knownness of the pot, well, avabhasate, is revealed Brahma Chaitanyena. The knownness of the pot, well, is revealed by Kutastha. What is now known? Over. Now, knownness of the pot will never go. What is known? Momentary. Because afterwards you see something else. That is known. Third is known. But now pot, knownness of the pot will remain. That knownness of pot is not revealed by Chidabhasa. Because Chidabhasa has to reveal only what is present in the thought. And therefore, now in new vritti, instead of pot, there is something else, clip. So Chidabhasa reveals that clip thought. You will have a clip knowledge. But still that knownness of the pot will not go away. Could you follow? That knownness of pot is revealed by what? Because Chidabhasa is revealing varieties of the thoughts, objects of the thoughts. That's how we have various knowledges. But then once it is known, that knownness is illumined by whom? By Sakshi. That's how I said unknownness also was revealed by Sakshi. Now knownness also is revealed by Sakshi. So this is how we have to see. So he develops a topic. Now this was the fourth verse. Now in fifth verse he says, Ajñātatvena bhātoyam gato buddhyudayat pura brahmanaiva uparishtattu jñātatvena tyasaubhida. So Vidyaranya says, before known adjective of the part, before known adjective came, unknown adjective was revealed by whom? Sakshi. Unknown adjective of the pot is revealed by whom? Sakshi. So ayam gataha, this pot means same pot, which enjoys knownness now, buddhi udayat pura. Buddhi, knowledge. Before the knowledge of that pot arises, ayam gata, same gata, bhataha, was revealed. How? Ajñātatvena. Now you have this part, well, which is a knownness. But before the knowledge took place, the same part, ayam gataha bhataha, was revealed. Ajñātatvena, as unknown part. And that was revealed by whom? Brahmana eva, by Sakshi alone. So unknownness of the part was revealed by Sakshi. Uparishtattu means later. Later what happened? Now part thought occurred. When part thought occurred, Chidabhasa present in the part thought revealed the part. And now the status of the part has changed. Known part. So part enjoys now Jnatata. It well basically has a new status, knownness. And that knownness is basically revealed. Part is known, part knowledge took place, it's due to Chidabhasa. But now knownness of the part with the same part. Before it was an unknown part. The unknownness was there regarding the part. Now knownness is there. Unknownness was revealed by Sakshi. Now knownness also is revealed by Sakshi. Part is known by Chidabhasa. But after that, now a known and knownness of the part is revealed by what? Sakshi. I hope it is clear. It is only part is known. That is due to Chidabhasa. Sakshi cannot make you know anything. Sakshi cannot make you. Only Chidabhasa can make. Any thought converted into cognition by Chidabhasa only. But then that particular object now has a now status of a knownness. That knownness is revealed by whom? Not only today. Now that part has gone and you are thinking something else and all that. But still in your mind, knownness even second day continues, third day continues. Who is revealing the knownness? Sakshi. Because in your conscious mind you have a different thoughts and pertaining to different object. That is revealed by Chidabhasa. And that's how different cognition perceptions takes place. But the thing which is known now, that knownness continues. Knownness of this. Yesterday I came to know this object. Means I know the object. How do you know that you know the object? I know. So that is by Sakshi. I know that I know the object. So the knownness of the given object is revealed by Sakshi. Unknownness, of course, is revealed by the Sakshi, because if it is revealed by Chidabhasa, means that unknownness doesn't remain at all. The ignorance pertaining to the object goes away when the vrittiyamsha of the mind pervades that particular object. And so when it pervades, and then Chidabhasa present in that thought reveals that object. And that's how that knowledge of that object takes place. Anyway, so tu vailakshan means to indicate a vilakshanada. So ayam gataha now The Ghataha, which was Bhataha, Ajnatatvena Bhataha, Vidyaranya says, I am Ghata, this part, same part, was before the knowledge arises, it was revealed as an unknown part, Ajnatatvena, that was by Sakshi alone. Now, too, I am Ghataha, Gnatatvena Bhataha. Now, same part gains a status of a knownness. Very typical type of a adjective. Typical type of an adjective. These are the adjectives which are not perceptible. Green part and red part, they are adjectives. Green and red, perceptible. Big pot, small pot. Big pot, small pot. Big, small, adjective, perceptible. Ugly pot, beautiful pot, perceptible. But known pot, unknown pot, or knownness of the pot and unknownness of the pot, these are the adjectives not perceptible. If it is perceptible, there is no Sakshi revealing. Anything perceptible, Chidabhasa. Please remember. Okay? So these adjectives, knownness and unknownness, are revealed directly by Sakshi. You say green pot and red pot. These adjectives are naturally perceptible. And that is revealed by Sakshi. Kya baat hai? It is revealed by Chidabhasa. So there are several types of adjectives. Even Sankhya. Sankhya is a Visheshana. One part, no, first part, second part. How can you say, oh, I'm able to see, I can count? Again Chidabhasa. But unknownness and knownness, those adjectives are not perceptible. So you don't need Chidabhasa to have these two adjectives. It's all there by definitely this difference in adjectives, knownness and unknownness, illumined by Sakshi. That's the difference. What reveals Chidabhasa? What is the function of Chidabhasa and what is function of Sakshi? So first we saw differences in terms of experiences, right? When there is a silence and these and samadhi and sushupti, then Sakshi is dominant, etc. And other states, Chidabhasa. Now in terms of function, that is going to be further said up to 17th verse. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.